No matter what your life looks like right now, I can guarantee that it is completely different than it was 3 months ago. It's taken a while to get used to, but I think we're starting to get some sense of normalcy, which seems like it might be the best time to start sorting out the hot mess that is your finances. Don't lie, I know they're a mess. Mine definitely were, but don't worry, we're gonna fix all of that. Today, I'm going to teach you how to reset your money and keep up your financial health after quarantine. Welcome to the Ready Set Life YouTube channel. My name is Brittany and I'm a millennial financial coach who makes videos all about taking the fear out of finance. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos on Thursdays and you don't want to miss them. Now that it's been a little while since we've all had to stay inside, unless you're an essential worker, in which case, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. We are all eternally grateful. It's definitely time to start taking a look at the things that you've been putting off, and that includes your finances. Yes, even me, I've definitely had a tough time in quarantine life. So just me, or has not being able to go outside sort of made delivery and online shopping more acceptable. So let's go over the steps that you can take to get your financial life back in check. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You need a plan. You might not like the word budget and it might make you squirm to think about going through all your accounts, but you literally can't do anything until you know what's going on. You need to know what's coming in and what's going out. And you gotta take those numbers and make them balance. In quarantine, I know this can be difficult. There are a lot of people in a lot of different situations. If you've just been laid off and your income was completely cut, you might find it really difficult to make that work for you. But on the other hand, if you're still working, you might run into some other problems. Maybe you've got money, but you have nowhere to spend it and you might be a little bored. Maybe your spending has gotten out of control in quarantine because of all the delivery and online shopping that you've been doing. That's what I've been doing. No matter what you're dealing with, sit down and take a look at your situation. Take a look at your accounts and figure out two scenarios. One, what's happening now, and two, what you hope will happen in the future, or sort of your back to normal budget. That way you've given yourself peace of mind that you've covered your current situation, but also have some hope for the future. A lot of the stress in these times come from the unknown. So take a look at what you can control and put your mind at ease. That second budget is going to be your look forward. You might have already had a budget before, and quarantine has just thrown it all off track. Or you've been making a money plan for the first time and you're using this downtime to kind of create a new healthy habit for yourself. Either way, you need a plan, and there's no way that you can effectively manage your financial life without a clear picture of what's going on. If you're doing this for the first time or want some ideas on how to make a budget, I'm gonna link my budget video up in the cards. I've got 2 videos that you can watch that will walk you through getting all of that created. Once you're clear on where you're sitting, you're going to want to make a plan on how to keep up with it. There's no use doing all this work just for you to forget the whole thing in 3 months. So decide when you're going to check in and commit to yourself that you're going to keep up with this plan. Now, the point of this isn't to make sure that you're spending within that specific structure only that you've made for yourself, but the point is to just make sure that things are working for you, whatever that means. If you find that you're not sticking to the plan, why is that? Is there something that you need to change or adapt? Has there been an extra expense that you didn't account for? Or are you suddenly getting more money than you thought you would and you need to actually reassess? The whole point of having a money plan or a budget is that it's not a set it and forget it situation. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's a lifestyle change. You have to keep your financial health at the forefront of your mind. So decide what that's going to look like for you. In my How to Be Responsible with Money videos, I suggest 3 different times to check in with your money: monthly, quarterly, and yearly. That way you're not checking it too often so that it seems like a chore, although at the beginning you might actually want to do that, but you're also covering a variety of times where you can check in with different things. Monthly, you can kind of do a quick read through and see if everything's on track, and quarterly you can do kind of a mini reset and make sure that things are aligning as you've set them out to. And yearly you can do a big overhaul and check in with your overall goals and priorities. That way, every year you'll have a fresh new perspective and that aligns with your values. And whatever you choose to do, put those dates in your calendar. Have a reminder notification that goes off and says, hey, look at your finances. That way you don't have to manually keep reminding yourself to actually check in. I mean, if anything, it will at least make you feel a little bit guilty when that note in your calendar goes off in 3 months and you haven't checked it at all. Maybe you'll change something or it'll re-inspire you to keep at it. All right, before we go forward, let's just go back just a second and think about that financial plan, because it's easy enough to say create a budget, but it's a lot more complex than just here's your expenses and here's your income. First, you want to think about your financial goals. Where do you want to be next year? Where do you want to be in the next 5 years, the next 10 years? I'll bet that some of those life stages are going to need some financial backing. So start building that into your plan now. Again, I'm going to link lots of resources down below in the cards, but the second video I ever made on this channel talked about making smart financial goals. So if you need some inspiration or a plan on how to create those goals for yourself, head over to that video. It's super weird for me to look back on that one because I feel like I've come a long way over my channel and hopefully improved a lot, but it's got great information and it's still worth checking out. The second thing that I want you to think about with regards to this is your financial values. We want to make sure that the things that you're spending your money on actually align with the core of what you actually want for your life. Generally, including the goals in your spending plan is going to go a long way with helping with this, but it's not enough to just be looking forward. We want to ensure that we're actually evaluating what's happening now as well. To do this, you can do a few different things. You can start a spending journal. That's where you write down and reflect on your purchases. And the more you write down with this, the more you actually get out of it. The longer you keep your journal, for example, the more data you're going to have to reflect on, and the more points of reference that you're going to give yourself. That's going to allow you to evaluate yourself better. I suggest keeping the journal for at least a month, writing down all the feelings that you had directly before a purchase and the feelings that you had directly after the purchase, and as well the feelings that you have a week after the purchase. That way you'll have a pretty wide variety of data points to understand which purchases are giving you joy and aligned with actually what you actually want, and which purchases maybe you're buying on impulse or regretting later on. The second plan for this works a little more with the budget that you have. On the resources page of my website, I've got a values exercise. Download that and write down what your values are. Then take a look at your budget and your spending for the last 3 months. You can just download your bank statements, and when you're going through, make sure to track how many purchases actually support the things that you wrote down in that sheet for what you want in your life, and how many of those don't. And knowing that's going to make a huge difference to understanding your overall happiness in your financial life. The next thing I want you to look into starting is a side hustle. Yes, this is a great time to start diversifying your income. Now, I have a video coming next week about what that all means and how to do it, but I want you to start thinking about this now. Start to brainstorm all the ways that you could get some extra cash if you needed to. It doesn't have to be a full-out business, and you don't need any super artsy skills or anything either. If you have those, great. Start thinking about ways that you can actually use them. But if you don't, it doesn't mean that you can't make some extra cash on the side doing something else. One of the things that I'm sure came out of this pandemic is the difficulty of relying on one source of income. There's no guarantee for anything. Even if you feel like you're in a super stable field, we've seen that over this pandemic. It can all go in a flash. Think about how much it would have meant to you to have even an extra $200 a month during quarantine. If you're not making anything, that money is huge. It's no small coin. Any amount can really push you over the edge and add to your financial goals. Now, I know this video, as in all my videos, they have a lot of information in them. I've included a ton more resources in this one than I usually reference, but I wanted to give you a lot to work with. So when you're done with this video, if you're still looking and really ready to up-level your finances in 2020, I'm going to suggest you message me. If you're watching this channel, you'll know that I'm a financial coach. But what this actually means is that I offer one-on-one services to people just like you to help them get back on track with their finances. My programs are all about you getting your financial shit together. So if you're ready for that, send me an email. I'm going to put it right here on the screen. Here it is. I'll give you a few seconds to screenshot it, and I look forward to hearing from you. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe with that notification bell turned on if you haven't already. Until next time, I'm wishing you great financial health. Bye! Gosh, that is way too fast. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. help, no, hope. Here we're getting into bloopers. What am I saying, man? I don't understand. To help them get them.